What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to JDS NerdVerse. We are doing a prediction video today. Kind of a prediction slash top 10. So we're predicting who's going to be our last 10 worst Pokemon out of the last 50. So we're going to rank them. Yeah, it's a very unconventional video. I've been very sick this week. So this week was actually dedicated to ranking the best, the worst, and then, you know, the 50 I just played. I'm sick, so it's kind of like throwing a wrench in that. That's why I smoothed around one of my launch days for my videos, because I just physically couldn't do it yesterday. We're going to give it a try today. Alright? So, the first Pokemon on this list is Moltres. So, you're going to look at this and be like, what? Look at those stats. This is a 495 base power Pokemon. It's got great speed. It's got great everything. Why is this on the list? Well, it's not because the Pokemon's not bad. It's probably going to... compared to the rest of this list, it doesn't belong on this list. But where it belongs on this list is when it comes to... when you compare it to the other legendary birds. That's why it's on this list. That's why it's number 10. Okay? The reason why this Pokemon's not going to do well is... it's in a sense when you compare it to the other two legendary birds, which are on a different list. Peck and Fire Spin are the only moves you can get for a majority of the game. At level 51, for some reason, you get Leer, and at 55 Agility and 60 Attack. It does get some other moves throughout the game. Razor Wind is garbage. It's not considered flying type. It's normal. You really don't have a lot of options, but there is going to be enough moves here to beat the game. It's just you got to go through a majority of the game before you can get any of these moves. So that is why when you look at the other two Pokemon, I'm not going to spoil it, but they have some pretty good moves and they have a lot more going for them than just like Peck and Fire Spin. Peck isn't bad, but Fire Spin's horrible. Alright? So, the actual Pokemon I think will have bad runs in this are... Magikarp will have... excuse me. A tough run. The reason why Magikarp will have a tough run is Magikarp only has Splash until level 15. Now, at level 20, we evolve into probably one of the best Pokemon in Gen 1. Hold on one second, I'm taking a drink of my drink. Alright, we evolve into Gyarados, which the run will fly after that. Will go very fast. But it's the fact that we have to diminish 40 splashes, and then you struggle, and then either go heal again or use a potion. It's going to take a little bit of time early, but after that, I don't think it's going to be the longest run ever, but after that part's got to get done before we can even progress through the game. We ain't beating Brock with Magikarp. We have to get the Gyarados before that's going to happen. So that's why Magikarp / Gyarados is number 9 on this list. And number 8 on this list is Kabuto and Kabutops. So Kabuto and Kabutops, it's not that they're actually... after I re-examined this a little bit, I actually moved this up the list. It was like number 5 or 4. But this is number 8 because it's not bad. Like the Kabuto stats are not very good, but Kabutops is better. Well, what's bad about it is it doesn't have the greatest moves. I'm trying to move the moves up. There we go. There we go. It starts off with Scratch and Harden. And I was like, dude, that's going to take forever to get through Brock. And then after a little bit of analysis, I'm like, you know what? Having Scratch and Harden is not the worst thing to have against Brock. You might have to get to a slightly higher level, like maybe like level 18. Maybe as high as 20. But Scratch and Harden are not the worst things ever, because Scratch is 40 base power, that's pretty decent. And Harden is going to let you initiate Bide game, so you can counter whatever the opposition does. And it's just going to take a couple more levels, but once you get past that, once you get past Route 3, you get Water Gun, you get Bubble Beam. The game really opens up for you. And eventually you're going to get Slash. I can't believe this Pokemon doesn't learn Swords Dance, but it is what it is. But after looking at it, it's not as horrifying as I thought it was going to be. So, moving on to the next Pokemon, Coughing. Coughing isn't that bad, but where Coughing, in my mind, is going to have a rough run. Kind of like how I compared Magnemite to Voltorb, I'm going to compare Grimer to Coughing. Grimer had some pretty good moves it got throughout the course of the game, and eventually got a really good stat boosting move in Acid Armor. Okay, stats aren't great for Coughing. Wheezing stats are not bad, but what really kind of sucks with Coughing is it's just level up move pool is not great, And then we have a TM move pool, and I'll show you here in a second. But Tackle and Smog are not going to be great to get by Brock. And we don't get another move until Sludge. So, and then there's not another damage dealing move on this list. But Sludge is pretty powerful if you're Poison type. But, like, the TM moveset's not very good. So, it's not the greatest thing ever. We do get some good moves, like Thunderbolt, like Fire Blast. So, I don't know how effective those are going to be late game. It'll be an interesting run nonetheless, but I think it'll just be kind of a run where we're just very limited on the things we can use against the opposition. And how's the special with this Pokemon? Special's not bad, so yeah, Weezing special is probably better than this too, so might not be too bad. Now the next Pokemon I'm going to go over, Rhyhorn, does not have good special at all. 30 special, and when Rhyhorn evolves into Rhydon, it goes to 45 special. That ain't good. That ain't good at all. This Pokemon's going to have a rough run because of this. This is a rock type Pokemon, rock ground Pokemon, and there's not one ground rock move on its level up moveset. Not one. All those are normal type. We're not a normal type Pokemon. If we are normal rock, that makes sense. But we have no normal moves. So our TM moveset's actually pretty broad. It's very weird, actually. So on the left, you're going to see Rhyhorn here. Rhyhorn has some pretty good moves. Earthquake, Dig, and you have... For some reason we have access to Thunderbolt. I don't know why a rock Rhinoceros can get Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt. But we do. We have access to it. But when we evolve, it gets even crazier because Rhydon, a standing rock whatever, can do Bubble Beam. It can do Ice Beam. It can actually do Surf. And it can do Thunderbolt. And plus all the other Earthquakes, Digs, and all that other stuff. So it's a very weird Pokemon. But here's the problem with this Pokemon. Is when you look at its stats, all those moves that are added by like Thunderbolt, Fire Blast, Bubble Beam, Ice Beam, all those are special. So it may not even be useful to us, the fact that we have access to all this stuff because our special's so low. Maybe there's some vitamins we can use that are going to help that, but that's going to be very tough to overcome with this Pokemon, is the fact that our special and our speed is like hot freaking garbage. Okay? So it's not bad. I don't think it's going to be the worst run ever, but there's just a lot of struggles this Pokemon's going to have because of its quote-unquote typing and because of the way the moveset lays out for them. Now this one's going to be maybe controversial to some people, but Scyther is actually going to have a very tough run. He has fantastic stats. This is one of my favorite Pokemon in Gen 1, one of them. It's awesome looking, look at it. But the problem with this Pokemon is the fact that it doesn't get any good moves at all. We start the game with Quick Attack. We get Leer at level 17. Focus Energy and Double Team are kind of pointless. We don't get another really good move until Slash at 29. Obviously, Quick Attack's not a good move. Let me rephrase that. We're going to at least have to be level 17 to beat Brock. So we have to grind to that point. Okay. Focus Energy is pointless. It actually quarters your ability to get a critical hit, not make it 4 times more likely. Double Team is outlawed. I may have to actually... I don't know. Double Team is outlawed. I'm not going to use it. Slash is great. Okay, and it has a high critical hit ratio, which is good. But that doesn't coincide very well with the next move, which is Swords Dance. Alright? And Agility, if I have Swords Dance, I'm not using Agility. And we don't have Wing Attack in red, green, red, and blue. So we have to rely on our TM moveset now, which is very limited. Takedown, Double Edge, Hyper Beam, Swift, Skull Bash. Those are only damage dealing moves. And if you look at this, there's not one move here that can actually damage Ghost except for Bide. So we have to hang on the Bide just to damage the Ghost in Pokemon Tower. That's why this Pokemon's going to have a rough run. There's not a lot of versatility in this moveset. Not a lot of versatility at all. I can't imagine what we're going to have to do to get by rock-type Pokemon. It's going to be very difficult. But that's why Scyther's on this list. It's not because Scyther's bad. His stats are amazing. But his moveset is pretty bad. In Gen 2, they fixed a lot of this moveset. It's a very good moveset in Gen 2, actually. But in Gen 1, a very rough moveset indeed. The next Pokemon we're going to go over is Eevee. Eevee will get its own playthrough. I'm not going to evolve Eevee into something else. They'll have their own separate playthroughs. I'm taking a drink of my water. I have to drink hot tea or hot water, or else I cough uncontrollably. All right, so Eevee stats are meh. It's meh, but it's got pretty good special, I guess. So, but the problem is a lot of its moves aren't going to be special. So let's move up the. Let's show you the move set for this Pokemon and show you as to why this is going to be a tough playthrough. So we start the game off with Tackle and Sand Attack, and that's it until level 27. We get nothing else until level 27. If it was in Pokemon Yellow, we'd at least get Quick Attack at level 23, but it's going to be 27, and we're going to get Bite at level 37, and then Takedown level 45. It's not a great spread there. Although every move we get will be Stab. That's good news about it. But we're going to have a rough early part of the game. Once we get through a little bit more of the game, it's going to open up for us. We're going to get Body Slam. We're going to get Double Edge. We're going to have access to Swift. But again, just like Scyther, we're going to have to deal with the fact that we don't have a move that can hit Ghosts. So we got to keep Bide for Pokemon Tower. The Elite Four is not an issue because you can always learn Mimic and mimic a move, and that can help you beat the Elite Four when it comes to Lorelei. But the big crux is the fact that there's no variety here. Rock type Pokemon are going to be a really big pain in the butt for this Pokemon. So yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough. Okay. Now we're getting to the final three. These ones are going to be some agonizing playthroughs. So the first one is Execute, and Executor is on here, but he's not actually that bad. When we evolve into him, the game's going to be pretty easy. It's Execute that's going to be the problem. The problem with Execute is the fact that we start the game with Barrage and Hypnosis, and Barrage is 15 power, 85% accurate, 20 power points. It is kind of like Fury Attack, where it'll attack between 2 and 5 times. It hits 2 and 5 times. Problem is it's not very accurate. And the other problem is we don't get another move that deals damage until Leech Seed at 28. So it's going to take a while to get through Brock. And we got to have all this move set until we get to Celadon City. So we have to get through, not only do we have to get through Misty, we have to get through Brock, Misty, Lieutenant Surge, multiple different rival fights. It's going to be tough. Once we get there, though, we can evolve into Executor with Leaf Stone, and we can get Psychic. We can open up our game immensely. But the problem is Barrage is just going to be a really big pain in the butt to play through as. So getting through that first part is going to be very grueling. But once we get to that certain point in the game, we'll be fine. I'm pretty confident we'll be fine. So, the next Pokemon is Tangela. Tangela is a garbage Pokemon. For a single stage Pokemon, it actually doesn't have horrible stats, has great special. But the problem with this Pokemon is the simple fact that we only have Constrict and Bide until level 29. Constrict is a 10 base power move, 100% accurate. It's like Wrap, basically. And Bind is the same thing, but 15 power points, but less accurate. So that's our moves. And honestly, I think I'd rather just have Constrict because I can at least deplete the power points easier. And you struggle. So I don't know if I want to. I don't know. This is gonna be a tough one. And via level up, we don't get a lot of moves. We don't get Vine Whip in Red and Blue. In Yellow, we do, but in Red and Blue, we don't have Vine Whip. We also get Slam, but the TM moveset for this Pokemon is not bad. So I'm not gonna sit here and say it's all doom and gloom. We can eventually get Body Slam. Can eventually use Mega Drain. We can use Solar Beam. Those moves are not those aren't issues. But the issue is early, we gotta get through Brock, who is resistant to normal moves, with 2 normal moves that have nothing more than 15 base power. And we don't have anything to stall out. We don't have anything for like Bide Game. Nothing. We have nothing to do that with. So that's why this Pokemon's on this list, is because the early part of the game, getting through that first gym is going to be really critical. And it's going to take forever. And then not only do we have to do that, but we have to play through next part of the game, which is Route 3, with just Bide and Constrict. And then we got to play through Mount Moon, which is Bide and Constrict. And then we got to play through Nugget Bridge with just Bide and Constrict. There's no move we can get until Body Slam. So we have a lot of stuff we have to use here. We have a lot of time we're gonna have to waste just to get through a certain part of the game. Okay. Now, the number one worst Pokemon by far to use in Generation 1 is the one on this list. It's gonna take forever. Onix was probably my worst playthrough so far. Onix and Zubat are my two worst. Some of these are probably gonna beat Onix and Zubat when it comes to being worse, but this one will take the cake. Ditto. It's going to be the worst playthrough I've ever done. Ditto, it doesn't have the worst stats ever. 48 at everything. I guess that is pretty bad stats. But the problem with Ditto is the fact it learns one move. Transform. Transform has 10 power points. And what it is, you transform into the opposite Pokemon. And then you basically copy everything except their level and their HP. So you copy their stats. You copy their moves. But you don't get all their power points. That's the problem with this. So, like, for example, if we face Brock early, if we transform into Geodude, Geodude is just going to have Tackle and Defense Curl. But the opposition has more power points, like the 35 or whatever power points it has, whereas we're only going to have like 5 or 10. I don't remember which one it is. I think it's 5 or 10. It's one of the two. So we have to survive on that. And then we have to use Struggle after that. So that's the situation we're at. It's not going to be a great playthrough. It's not going to be fun. Every different trainer is going to have its own unique problem. If we use Transform, if we have to keep delete. The good news is Transform has 10 power points, so we can deplete that pretty easily and just use Struggle. That's not an issue. It's just going to be so grueling, and you're going to have to. Every battle is going to have to be thought. Do I want to use Struggle here? Or can I use Transform and beat the opposition here? It's going to be tough. I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough. And it's not like we have high hit points either. So we have to rely on a little bit of strategy. It's really going to be a strategy-driven playthrough. Not looking forward to this playthrough at all. It's going to be fun with the strategies I got to come up with, but it's not going to be fun in just an overall general sense. It's just going to be very hectic. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, that is my prediction video for the worst 10 Pokemon left in my playthrough challenge. What do you think in the comment section down below? Put it down there. Who do you think is going to be the worst of all of them? If it's the one I missed, let me know. Comment down below. So, today is Tuesday. This is when this video comes out. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm going to try to release my ranking for the last 50 Pokemon I played through as. 52 through 101. And then Friday, I should have my top 10 best playthroughs left. Alright? So let me know what you think. Comment down below. Have a good one, and see ya.